great just boost and amazing like injection. It's very cool. Well, now it's back to work. Yeah. We are a little behind schedule, and you are here to leave with copy. So I'm going to, we're going to get back into the zone. Remember when we were writing our features and benefits and bullets and getting all that fun stuff going? Frequently asked questions was something that we kind of glossed over that we're going to table for right now because we have an idea of what frequently asked questions are. They integrate it into the features and benefits. So we're going to come back to that because what I want to focus on right now is how to write a really good offer. That's kind of a standalone piece of your copy that you're going to want to know how to craft in a way that works really well. So in your offer, oh, good question. It's on page 51, and your offer, as you know, when you're looking at doing a copy critique, you're going to look at the scannability, the opening, the body, and then the offer. It's like a main piece of your copy that people are scrolling down. They're going to stop right at the offer. So one of the things that I like to do with the offer itself, which is what do you get for the money that I pay you for? What exactly do I get? 1, 2, 3, 4. What is it? There's an example in the SOBOC part of it, but let me just jump to some of the ways to inspire a call to action, because when you get them to that offer point, you want them to go over to the next step and to actually take action and give you their money. So one of the ways is to create a limit on the time the offer is available, to make it, it's just for a certain amount of time, for 24 hours, for 2 weeks, for whatever that can be. Sometimes you can't do that authentically, and I don't recommend that you do it if it's not authentic, because it just ruins your credibility, and like Michael was saying, that's one of the most important things that you have. But there are ways around it, and we'll discuss some of those. So you want to create a limit on the time, or you can limit the number of products that there are available for sale. If you have a hard product, it's easy, but if you have, for example, a downloadable PDF product, it's not so easy. I remember when Tom Antion had a fire sale for his warehouse of PDF products, and he was clearing out the electrons, making room for new ones. And it worked because it was cute and it was funny, and if you thought about it too much, you're like, what? But it did work. I actually mimicked that same campaign with my son. I said, my mom's going crazy. She thinks that she's actually going to clean up her computer by getting rid of PDF files. And so it was from my son, and I actually sold a lot too. So cute goes a long way. Don't overlook cute. Paint the picture of pain without your products. This is some of the things that you do just to jab them into. Remember how horrible a night's sleep you had before you had my wonderful pillow. Remember how your sales, you didn't make as much sales before you had my help. So paint the picture of pain without the product. And then remind them how happy they're going to be. Remind them of the contrast of the happy face when they start using your product. So I want to actually take you back into the binder and the example that I have used, let me tell you the page number. We're back to a little low tech stuff, but it's such a good example. This is an offer on page 20. Go into your binders on page 20 and follow along with me. Actually, I could put this up on the overhead, right, John? Yes. I can figure it out. So if you go to page 20, he has some text above the offer itself. It's a place where you put your guarantee, you put your bonuses, and your call to action. This is from John Carlton's Marketing Rebel. This is his home study course that he was talking about. And it's interesting, for those of you who are here at the event, you'll see that he was preaching against offering 3 items, and yet that's exactly what he's doing. So it's just interesting. We not always do as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, the biggest bargain of your life. That's what smart, savvy marketers do. They find the few proven secrets that actually work, and then they use them. The cost is irrelevant because the results you see are so financially dramatic and quick. You'll be stunned by how fast the money starts pouring in, and you get it all for a fraction of what it would cost to hire me directly. So he's reminding you of what a good deal this would be and how much money you'd be spending to hire him directly. And even better, you have 90 days to check everything out. So there's your guarantee. 3-month, no risk, 100% money-back guarantee. If you're unhappy for any reason at all, refund your money. It's a hyper-generous guarantee. He's just reminding you again how great that is. You don't need to give a reason for returning the material. So he's taking all of that burden off of you. This is a hard product. It's not a service. So to order, click here. And this is the point that I really wanted you to see. This is what I want to see in your order forms as well. He has a check mark by the yes. Yes, I'm ready to check out everything without risk. And I know there's no time to lose. So he switched the languaging over to, it's now I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the other side of the page. I've become the prospect, even though I'm actually the copywriter. So it's yes, I am ready to check it out. And there's Wendy might actually be able to speak to that, our next speaker, when it comes up. But there's some psychology behind the check mark and the interactivity of it, and having it come from the voice of the prospect. Thanks for the 90-day money-back guarantee, reminding you exactly what that is. It takes the pressure off my decision. In fact, it allows me to see everything almost for free if I choose. And then he's got icons of the different kinds of credit cards he takes. And then he says there's 2 ways to order, 2 easy ways to order, sorry. He has the Insiders Club, he has the Damn Good Deal, and he has the Cheap Date. And each of those, he has a description of exactly what it is that you get. He's got the total. If you're ordering inside the U.S., you click here, and he does this for each of those products. The other way to order is via fax. You should always have more than one way to order. People get uptight about ordering online, and more now, which I thought it would have been less and less, but it's not necessarily so. You just never know if they're going to be comfortable or not. So ordering online is great if you have a secure shopping cart or a system. Ordering by phone is another great way, especially for upsells and things. I returned some stuff from Victoria's Secret the other day, and I ended up spending another $300. They had a really good salesperson. So vocal stuff is really good if you have someone who's in customer service who knows how to sell. And via fax, again, I was telling you earlier, I used to laugh at faxes because they're so ancient, but no, they're back in. Faxes are hot again. They're low tech. They get through. They work. Total privacy, total security. If you want to pay by check, okay, there's actually 3 ways to order. He also allows you to pay by check, and obviously it would take longer. And then he has his mailing information on there. Does he have a privacy policy? Well, he says there's total privacy and total security, so I'll take his word for it. That's his privacy policy. But what I want you guys to look at when you're writing your own order form is to think of exactly the details of what the features of what it is that your product is. Just, forget about the benefits of it for this piece of it, other than the copy that says you made such a good decision by ordering my product. Besides that, that's just it. What do I get for my money? Boom, that's it. How much do you want? Exactly what do I get? If there's bonuses, they would go in here too. But I like to have these boxed off because there is so much text in the long copy sales letters. If people are scrolling, you want them to know when to stop and know when to take action. So that's what our next our next exercise is to actually create your own order form, and it's just going to be one chunk that's going to be added to the rest of your copy. So does anyone have any questions about how to do that bit? Just do a little bit of pre-copy that says yes, I want this, and what it is, kind of get them into the mood again. If there's a guarantee, add that in there. If there's bonuses, add that in there. If you have a bunch of things, you can go ahead and bullet point those through It doesn't have to be a small order box, but just you're going to have it offset so it's easy to find on the sales page. Make sense? Kathy?
And just one thing, when you're clicking through, when you say click here.
Click here.
It seems to be a good idea to say something like, click here and begin your XYZ right away.
Excellent idea. Yeah, yeah, get them into the feeling of it. Click here to get closer to feeling the solution. Yeah, add that in there as well. So what we're going to do is just take 15 minutes. We're going to set the chicken for 15 minutes and write your offer. And I will be around to give you a hand if you need it. And Kathy will be around. And let's... It may have been, if you think of what the actual product it is itself, bullet point by bullet point, feature by feature, maybe that would help to figure out what it is that you want the offer to be, what specifics they get. Real quickly, I'm going to add in price, call to action, and guarantee and bonuses in the PS. So these last little bits of the close, I want to go through that and see if we can back into the offer and see if that helps highlight things for you. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so back in the binder again, this is on page 52. There's a little example of a guarantee from a traffic expert named Marty, his name I just forgot. Completely blank, Marty Foley. This is his guarantee, and if you can see it's got a cool little elephant thing. Is our unusual guarantee. Like if you stomp on it, you crunch it, my elephant stepped on it, you get your money back. That's his guarantee. Try the CMT members site risk-free for as long as you want. I personally guarantee if you join now and apply what you discover to your website and blah, 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 you'll raise you get a permanent pay raise of at least 100 to 300% more profit on your site from the same traffic. So he's making just a pretty bold guarantee. So if you're going to make one, you may as well make it bold, or you can choose not to. Is there anyone in here who has chosen to not make a guarantee for any reason? Or we're just haven't decided yet? Or okay, all right. Because there's some debate whether or not, if you have a service-based business, whether or not you want to offer a guarantee, because you can't take back the service once you've given it. And there are ways around that. There are ways that you can protect yourself. But in general, my rule of thumb is if it's a hard product, then you should offer a guarantee, because it takes the risk off of the buyer, and it moves them into a buying state a lot faster than if you don't. Because if you're not giving a guarantee, well, why aren't you? Maybe there's something wrong with the product. Now, I'll go back to Tom Antion again, who does not offer a guarantee because he got tired of people returning things. Not that his product's not good, because it is good. I've had it. But he just got sick of dealing with the people who he'd rather make fewer sales and have them know that they're going to stick. So that was his choice. That's a choice you can choose to make. But a guarantee will always get you more buyers than not having a guarantee. Now, if you choose to not have one in a service-based business, then I think it's okay, personally, because usually if you're in a service-based business, you have a relationship with that person. You've built up a trust. And you have an understanding. If someone's not happy, like with your copywriting, you're going to make sure they're happy, aren't you? I mean, I would do the same thing. If they're not happy in your business, you have a relationship. It's not like a one-off and they're gone. So that's one of the reasons I choose not to have one in a service-based business, and also because there's nothing you can do. You can't get it back. The same thing is interesting enough. I have a guarantee on all my PDF files. Can I get them back? Yeah, but doesn't matter. They've downloaded them, right? They can have the downloadable PDF file. They have paid for it, and then they can say, this is not what I wanted. I want my money back. I can't really do anything about that. I will give them their money back. That's just the cost of doing business. That's just what happens. Linda?
How many times a month or a year do you actually have to act on that guarantee?
Once a year. It's not very often. So it just makes it sound more palatable. That's a good point, too. So with a guarantee, I recommend having them. I think they're good. Bonuses, there was some talk about bonuses while we're talking about the offer too, because it is a place where you would want to mention them if there are any. Bonuses make people excited. It's like when Charlene, who's helped me set up and helped us work for this event, she said, "Do you like presents?" when I first saw her. And I'm like, yes, I like presents. Everyone likes presents. It's the same thing with the bonus. It's people like it, and it doesn't matter how small it is. This, I'm sorry, chicken, hello, case in point. I've had people literally sign up for my boot camp, for sure, who've emailed me saying they signed up just so they could get this chicken. Seriously. So those little things, they have an impact. So I recommend having bonuses if you can come up with them. Tuli and I were talking about, for her PDF file or her downloadable ebook, that what about bonuses? She doesn't really have any. And then she started thinking, well, yeah, there's some audio that she has. There's checklists that she has. There's things that you can add in there that you may not think of as bonuses. It's all repackaging. It's putting them as something more powerful. And Kat has a comment. But before Kat talks, I have to tell you about this crazy guy who bought my PDF file in Hong Kong, who's literally called up my assistant from Hong Kong 5 times in the last week. He bought the downloadable home study course, and he's going through each one of the bonuses and saying, you don't have scientific advertising, and you do have all these others, but you don't have that on there. And then he calls back. He doesn't email, he calls from Hong Kong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. You do have it on there. And then he talks for like another 2 minutes about how he has it on there. And then he's calling her back saying, you don't have the audio CDs. And it's not as clear. Granted, I've never been crawled on the carpet about this before, but it does have the MP3s, but it says, he asked, do I get everything that's in the downloadable, that's in the regular one? And I said, yeah, but it's all downloadable. Well, that wasn't good enough for him. So this guy has just been harassing my assistant. It's very rare, but I just wanted to tell you that's just a fun thing that happened to me last week.
Spent $200 in phone calls
Exactly.
to get a $2 product.
Yeah, well, hey, it's $97.
I have a question on, I just read in here and I hadn't thought about there are a couple places that says don't overhype the bonuses or create bonuses that are so good that it makes the regular product not look as valuable.
Right.
Then is there an acceptable ratio, like for a book that's coming out between $20 and $25, is something more than $1,000 worth of bonuses, then does that seem too excessive?
It does to me. It does
So
to me.
a couple $100 worth of value then? I mean, is there an acceptable?
Is Michael Port still in the room? No, that's too bad because he just did a huge
No, not
Amazon
yet, because I'm
push.
creating them.
It's the feedback that I've gotten, Kat, on that is that it does make it too unbelievable that if it's so much that why would you put that much on a $29 book or use maybe more? But that's the feedback I've got. Yeah.
One of the things that Michael did, though, was he was a market maker. They weren't his bonuses.
True.
In other words, they were other people giving their bonuses to other people.
True. But,
So, and I think that made a difference, though.
well, apparently it did because he got up to the #1 position, and it's also it's a good book.
Because he made it a contest to go, I mean, there were just lots of prizes for going and doing lots of things. I mean, if he were giving all those bonuses, don't you think it would have been different?
Yeah, that does make a difference to me. But just the feedback that I've gotten is that if you have to push that hard to get me to buy, there must be something wrong. But it did. One of the things that Michael did do, and I wish he was in here, was that he did do the contest, and that was very different than the normal Amazon pushes. So I wish he was in here because I don't remember what the contest was. I was actually a part of it. I gave away a seat in this event, and the guy was not able to come. But this was like a big ticket thing, and I know he did do a lot of stuff. He did. Tuli.
The temptation with bonuses in my mind is, okay, so I have this product and then 3 other bonuses that I can add, and then I sell one of the other bonuses, and is it logical, is it reasonable to say, okay, these things are always only ever bonuses, and I tack them onto every product I sell? How do you think through that part of it?
That's That's a real good question. The John Childers rule of thumb is that your bonus should be something that you cannot get anywhere else other than with that particular product, and that it should be actually, and I don't adhere to this necessarily, but I'll just tell you what he says, it should actually be worth more than the product itself by itself. That you could sell the bonus on its own. And so that it should be it shouldn't just be garbage, is the bottom line. And if you can come up with a unique bonus that you can't get anywhere else, like the chicken, you can't really buy the chicken unless people beg me to buy the chicken, and which they did do. We got the woman from Belgium saying, I can't come over, I want the chicken.
We've sold one chicken only. It's always been connected with a product.
Right. Exactly. All right, so any other questions about bonuses or comments? No? Kat?
I've been seeing this trend that people are now offering an inordinate amount of bonuses, huge numbers of them. And like John was saying, well, there are people other than the person, some of their works. And at first it seemed like someone would offer, like Mike Filsame might offer, Alex Mendozia's thing, a few things like that. But now I'm seeing things literally, I get tired of scrolling. It's 20, 30, and most of them are, excuse me, but crap. And it pisses me off. If I were going to buy something, I will not, because I just feel like, what are you doing? Why are you insulting me like this?
And that's the feedback that I've gotten from, that's the exact same feedback that I've gotten about the endless bonuses. And I don't want more crap to do. I want less to do. I want the cream of the crop. It's something that's really going to improve my life that I'm going to save and read. And that's what gets me to buy. And I may be wrong, but I believe that there's a trend that way because we are so busy that we don't just want a big barrel full of things just to have them, unless they're diamonds. Then that's different. Or shoes. Women are all the same. Yes, Dan?
Also, if you give people too much crap, you're interfering with your own consumption strategy. If they have 20 other things to open and get through, then you want them to consume your content, so they'll buy more of that sooner.
Yeah, that is a great point. It's very true. So with that being said, who's offering bonuses? You can't. It's not that you shouldn't. It is not that you shouldn't. It's a great strategy. What kind of bonuses are you? Do you know, Kat?
Well, I'm still working on it because the book hasn't come out yet. So
Okay.
I was thinking of some PDF documents and maybe some discounts on certain.
Some PDF.
Sorry. It's like, quit hitting me, Dan.
I can wait.
Some PDFs from some other experts, actually, in a marketing campaign so that they would help promote the book. And I'm thinking of maybe a discount on some interesting services that are already available. That might be helpful.
There's some other, thank you. Okay. There's some other things like discounts on seminars. You can see like upsells. Are you going to print an upsell in your book? Yeah, of course you are. How silly is that? Or if you have, an ongoing teleclass or something like that, you can do. You give discounts or stuff like that, bonuses that way.
I actually just was checking my email at the break, and I'm on more lists than most of you people will ever know. And at any rate, I just got one that I found out was pretty cool. Or I thought was different. It was a diminishing bonus. In other words, for the first, they had basically a number. I'm not saying. They basically said that if you are one of the first X number of people that buy, this is your bonus package. And then after this number's gone, this is your bonus package.
Why does that work, do you think?
Scarcity.
Yeah, that's cool, because that gets me excited. I don't even know who it is. I don't know what it is. And I'm like, what? I'm missing out on something. Scarcity is really powerful. It's like a guttural thing. You can't help it. It's like you're missing out somehow. So, all right, the whole point of this diatribe is just to get you to think about what bonuses you're going to offer, if you're going to offer them, and what strategy. You don't want to just slap them on because that's the thing to do. You want to have a strategy about it. And if you could move out of the way of my blueprint, please. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about, I'm not going to talk about price because it changes so much, and it's something that you're going to test And it's very individual. Everybody in here will have a different one. So let's talk a little bit about the call to action. And we did that, the bonuses. Okay, the PS. The PS is, like I was telling you, is very highly read. And it's a great place to put in your last calls to action, last nudges, last, you can even do an entire brand new offer in the PS that was never introduced in the sales letter. If you just have something that it's, and I learned this from Dan Kennedy, just something that you just never mentioned, just tack it on in the PS. I actually did that with the John Carlton seminar. The entire PS is a new sales letter. So that it wasn't originally planned to be like that, but the one day by itself wasn't selling by itself. It was only selling as a package. So I ended up creating the triple threat, which was John Carlton and the Dan Kennedy product and this, and just tacking him on at the end and making, anytime you click on my sales letter, you go to my order form. And so wherever it actually takes you to a brand new page. So you would click any place there, and you go to the same place no matter what it is. So let's see, with PSs, 3 PSs are actually good because people tend to read the middle one. They tend to act on the middle one. Yeah, another Dan Kennedy thing, so he says. Yes, sir.
Another thing that's kind of cool about adding something in the PS that you don't have anywhere in the body copy is it'll show you what PS is getting read. You know, if you're testing, you can just put it in the middle PS, offer a product that you didn't offer anywhere else. It's going to tell you that they obviously read to the point where they got to the PS, whether they started the headline, went straight to the PS, or whether they got...
How's it telling you that?
Well, because if you put a product in there that they're going to ask for, that's in the PS. It's like with the John Carlton thing, we sold seats as a result of making that PS a mini sales letter. And they're like, I want that. It's like,
Right.
okay, well, clearly you read that.
Right, because that's the only place it was. It wasn't any place else. That's the wacko guy who bought my $97 downloadable. That's the only place you can buy it is in the PS. So he had to read the whole letter before he decided on the downloadable version, unfortunately. But that's the way that goes. Well, we're coming up to our next speaker in a moment. But what I want to do before we end with the copywriting bit of it, because we're on such a roll with the features and benefits. One of the exercises that we were going to do in class was to have an FAQ, a frequently asked questions exercise, where you partner with somebody in your studio and you interview them for 10 minutes, and then you switch for 10 minutes. So I'd like to assign homework. You find somebody that it can be anyone that you partner with. It doesn't have to be just at your studio. But partner with somebody for 10 minutes and interview them and just ask, like, as if you're from Mars, like you don't know any idea what their business is about. Because we've started to learn about what other people's businesses are. Pretend you don't know anything and ask them all the questions you can think of about how their business started, what their product does, who it serves, as many things as you can come up with in 10 minutes. Take your chickens. I don't want you to be there all night unless you feel like it, but you'll get more cream of the crop stuff if you have a time limit. So that's your homework, and we'll check up with that.